Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. And speaking of the daily Discord updates, yesterday when everybody was panicking and everybody was, leaving comments like, oh no, the market is dead, everything is dead, even though everything was down like 2% or 3%. When that was happening, I was telling you that, hey, maybe this is a fake out, because if you look at the RSI, yes, it did go down a lot, but the price did not really drop that much, leading me to believe that this is another fake out like we had in the past. For example, I gave you actually 3 examples here, and let's jump to one. The first one is right here. This happened, and when it happened about 4 months ago, almost 4 months ago, and I told you this looks like a big fake out because the price went down quite a lot and the RSI went down even more, which was actually good because this meant that Ethereum will most likely continue to go up, and it did. And then of course we went down, but it continued going up in the short term. So this was a fake out, and I showed you an example for this. Now of course this was only the first example. We had another one right here, which was for Cardano. This was about, let's see, about 3 months ago, or actually no, 2.5 months ago, and it's the exact same thing. The RSI dropped quite a lot, but the price barely dropped, and yeah, after this we still went to higher highs, which is good. So I don't really understand why people are panicking right now. I don't really understand the fear, because yesterday Cardano only dropped like 5 cents, which is not really a lot. I mean, yes, it might seem like a lot because it's the biggest drop we've had in the past 2 weeks or so, but that's not really, anything to be concerned about. Also, we stayed above the 200-day moving average, and as you can see, we are finally bouncing off of it again for like the 6th time. And yeah, like I said, we bounced here, here, and now we bounced here. Now of course this is not enough to be able to be considered a bounce, at least not yet. However, the market is still doing just fine, and yes, we are still going sideways, but that's okay. Please remember what happened the previous time when the Cardano chart was just going sideways, which was down here. I mean, here we went sideways from, you could say, April to about November, and of course during this time everybody was panicking, everybody was calling Cardano dead, and of course not only Cardano but the other altcoins as well, but Cardano was the most dead out of all of them because it's Cardano. And what do you know, after this sideways price action, after this boring price action, we finally had a big wave move to the upside, and this was always, expected to happen. Now of course I expected it to happen and not the haters. They thought that Cardano would go to zero, but what do you know, this sideways price action was actually good because it gave us a cross on the bull market support band right here, and after the cross, yes, we did go sideways again, but after that, I mean, after going sideways for another few months or so, we had this big move to the upside, and yeah, the rest is pretty much history. So I think this is what we're preparing for right now, and we even did it right here, you could say, before we actually formed the new bear market low. Actually no, after we formed the bear market low of 2023, we just went sideways for a couple of months. I think this was actually about 3 months. We had another cross on the bull market support band, and then we went up again. So yeah, we're doing the exact same thing every single time, and yet people are shocked that we are doing it. I mean, right now Cardano is even in an uptrend, unlike over here, for example. Here we were actually in a downtrend, and right now we are not. So there's actually not much to be, concerned about, at least not right now. Now it is March 27th, and Bitcoin dominance still has not started dropping, which, it's very questionable, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with it, because if it does not start dropping soon, we are definitely not going to do what we did in the previous cycle. As you can remember, in the previous cycle we went sideways, let's say from January, and well, actually no, let's say from February to about March. Bitcoin dominance just went sideways for like 2 months, and then it started breaking down at the end of March, and yeah, that was the beginning of the altcoin season, which lasted about 2 months. Now of course you could take this whole move to the downside as the altcoin season, but the altcoin season was actually only this right here, and whatever happened after that was not really that important as this right here. So something like this is what we are waiting for, and like I said, the altcoin season could only take like 2 months. I mean, even here in 2018 you could say that it only took 2 months as well, Now here in 2018, well actually 2017, it took a bit longer. It did not only take 2 months, but as you can see, the biggest move we had was actually this right here. This was a move from like 94% all the way down to like 61% in a matter of like 2 months. And this is when most altcoins went up quite a lot. Now, of course, some altcoins actually went up here as well. For example, I mean, Ethereum is not really an altcoin, but this is where Ethereum topped in 2017. So yeah, something like this could definitely happen again. However, that does not mean that we have to wait for something like this. It does not mean we have to wait until December. As you can see here, we clearly started going down in April and in May, and I think something like this could happen again if Bitcoin dominance finally, starts going down. Of course, I mean, that's logical. And as you can see right now, it's also going sideways like it was going sideways over here. So I think it's actually a matter of time until it breaks down. Now, is it possible to get like 66% dominance? Well, of course it is, but in my opinion, it's not gonna get there. As you can see here in the previous cycle, we topped in January of the post-halving year. And right now in this cycle, we have a top, which was in February this time, which means it was like 1 month later. And I mean, maybe if this is the case, if we are just 1 month later than we were in the previous cycle, maybe we start breaking down at the end of April, but I don't really want to say that because I'm not really a fan of that idea, and I think we still need to go down right now or very soon because that's what we did in the previous 2 cycles. So Bitcoin dominance is very, very important right now, so please be aware of that. And in order for Bitcoin dominance to drop, we still need Ethereum to go up, and right now Ethereum is not doing too great. However, we are seeing a reaction to the 0.618 support level, and we'll see if we actually get more than this. Obviously, this is not enough to confirm that the low is in. Obviously, I mean, we still need to get above the 200-day moving average and then above the bull market support band. And let's say to get above that, we have to get to like $3,000, which from where we are at right now would be a very, very big move to the upside. It would be a 58% move. However, that's not really insane to think about, considering the fact that here, when Bitcoin dominance was at cycle highs, Ethereum actually went up about 72% in a matter of like, let's say about 30 days. So it's definitely possible for something like that to happen, and we just have to wait for it. If it does not happen right now, it's going to be okay. But please keep in mind, we kind of need Bitcoin dominance to break down because I'm expecting the whole market to drop in May. Well, actually not in May, but by the end of May, meaning that if we do get that huge drop that we always get every single cycle, I mean here for example, this was a 55% drop, in 2017 it was a 40% drop I believe, and in 2013 it was an 80% drop, and we always had this drop every single cycle. So if we actually get this in this cycle as well, it's not going to be great for the altcoins, which means that Bitcoin most likely has to continue going up soon. Now speaking of Bitcoin, if you go on the weekly chart, and I've talked about this already, but if you have not watched the videos, the Bitcoin chart in this cycle has a very interesting pattern, and I don't really see many people talk about this. So basically, as you can see, the RSI when we got to these lows right here went to about 44 on the weekly chart, and right here when we got to these lows, the RSI again went to about 44. This time, after we went down like 30%, the RSI went to 44 again for like the 4th time, which leads me to believe that we are about to get a big bounce, and I don't think many people are expecting this to happen, but I think it's actually possible, and I think Bitcoin can actually get above $140,000 by the end of May if this pattern keeps repeating, because like I said, after we got this drop right here, we actually bounced at the 44 RSI level, and this low was actually at 25k. The next low was at 50k. This low right here was almost at 75k, which leads me to believe that if we follow this pattern until the end of the cycle, the next low could be at about 100k, and if that is the case, and if we actually are about to drop to about 100k after going up by the end of May, it would actually be a very good prediction to make because, like I said, Bitcoin usually goes up until May and then we get a summer drop, and this would be perfect for a summer drop. So if we get to like $150,000 by the end of May, we could then drop to about $100,000 and continue this pattern. Now, I don't know if we will do that, but it would actually be the best case scenario right now. So we'll see if that happens or not. Obviously, I cannot, tell you the future, but I think we are still in a very good cycle, and I mean, Bitcoin is still doing what it did in the previous couple of cycles. There's nothing different about this. If you look at the 2017 cycle, I mean, it's the exact same thing. Here we also had multiple corrections on the way. We actually had like 5 corrections in the post-halving year, and so far we've only had 3 in this cycle, which leads me to believe that the 4th one will be after May, and the 5th one will most likely be sometimes, let's say at the end of the year, maybe in like September or October or so. I mean, Bitcoin usually drops in October, so we'll see if that happens or not. And I mean, Bitcoin and Cardano and Ethereum, they are all looking fine. I don't really understand, the hate comments, and they are not really constructive comments, because all they say is, oh, the market is dead, everything is dead, the altcoins are dead. And to that I say, I mean, Bitcoin dominance is at like 62%. You cannot expect the altcoin market to be at all-time highs. However, when Bitcoin dominance finally starts dropping, which I believe will be very, very soon, then everybody who has been bearish on these charts for the past couple of years will finally, eat their words. And of course, those people will probably buy Cardano at like all-time highs at like $4, $5, $6, expecting it to get like, $50, because that's what their favorite YouTuber says, not me by the way. And yeah, after they do that, after they buy at like $5, they buy the top, it goes down again, and of course it goes to like 40 cents. And yeah, during that time they will not sell, because, this is most likely just a corrective, move to the downside, and then we go higher. But that's obviously not going to be the case. They're going to just hold their altcoins, and they're going to lose a lot of money. And of course, during the bear market, everybody will call Cardano dead again, like they did in this cycle and in the previous cycle. And this pattern just continues on and on and on. So yeah, it's getting boring, I know. And I know the price is not really doing anything, but this is actually better than just going down for a couple of months. Going sideways, like I said, is a lot, let's say, not better in terms of content, because I definitely do not have anything to say, but it's definitely better in terms of what Cardano has done in the past after going sideways for a couple of months. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon. If you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.